Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and I am Akshaya pursuing second year engineering in SVC Bangalore. So today I have come up with the topic in the object-oriented program part, that is the data abstraction. So one of the important topic in the OOPS concept. Let's get started. So let's first understand what you mean by a data abstraction. So is the property by virtue of which only the essential details are discussed by the user. The trivial or the non-essential units are not displayed to the user. In this article, we'll be knowing about the abstraction and what the abstract means. So in simple words, data abstraction means we'll be representing the features or the information by hiding the background details. Yeah, that is mean about the data abstraction. So next coming to the a real lifetime example of a data abstraction. So to get easily understand like what is data abstraction, one real life example. So considering that example, a real life example of data abstraction is a car's dashboard. Of course, everyone new car dashboard, and the dashboard provides a simplified interface to the driver, like essential items or the necessary items required by the driver, abstracting away the complexity of the car's internal system. The dashboard provides key information, as I mentioned, such as speed, fuel level, and engine temperature, which are necessary for the driver to operate the car safely. So by understanding this concept, now my friends, you'll get our few idea about what is a data abstraction. As I said, it is representing the features by hiding the background details in it. Yeah, this is one of the real life example I've taken and I've mentioned. So now coming to the when to use data abstraction and which particular scenario we need to use it. So there are some particular situation where we'll be using the data abstraction. So in which we want to define a super class that declares the structure of a given abstraction without providing a complete implementation of every method. Sometimes we will want to create a super class that only define a generalization that will be shared by all of its subclasses. So one case here, sometimes you want to create a super class. When you want to create a super class, that time defines a generalized form that will be shared by only of all superclass. The best example to understanding what scenario the data abstraction will be used. So I have mentioned here, for example, certain shapes, everyone will be knowing, can be flipped. Some behaviors may be different of each shape, such when you want to calculate the area of that shape. So shape and its behavior, and if you want to calculate the area of its shape, the type hierarchy embodies both the similarities and difference between the shape. So the best example, and I've mentioned in the chart diagram also, where the scenario particularly will be using the data abstraction. Yeah, that was the example I've mentioned here. Next, coming to the algorithm of the to implementing the abstraction with the Java. So determine the class. So first step goes like this. So first determining the class or the interface that will be the part of the abstraction. So defining the abstraction classes or interface must create an abstract class or interface that defines the common behavior and properties of the classes. Second step that we need to do. First step, classes or interface must defining the abstract methods within the abstract class or interface that do not have any implementation details. Without any implementation details, the abstract method within the abstract class or the interface does not have it. Yeah, that one of the point I have mentioned here. That is one of the step of the algorithm. Implement concrete classes that extend the abstract class or implement the interface. Yeah, concrete classes that extend the abstract class or even implement the interface. It may abstract or it may implement. Override the abstract methods in the concrete class to provide the specific implementations. Of course, our point. Use the concrete classes to implement the programming logic. Yeah, one of the important algorithm and the point mentioned is use the concrete classes to implement the programming logic. So data abstraction, yeah, algorithm, it is, of course, algorithm means a step-by-step process for a given to solve a particular problem. So here to easily understand, I have taken the algorithm process. Next, coming to the first example related to the data abstraction. So this is one of the basic example related to the data abstraction. So the data abstraction example can be done in two ways. So that I'll be showing next. First, let us understand what is the simple example of the data abstraction. Yeah, here is an example of data abstraction in Java. The following example I have taken is a class bus I have named here. In the class bus, we have abstract class method to accelerate function. Yeah. So the class bus, we have to abstract method to accelerate function. Then we will inherit this class in the Volvo class. That's what I have displayed in the chart screen. And then we will inherit this class into Volvo class. Within the Volvo class, we will implement the accelerate method. What the Volvo class we have opened, in that we are implementing the accelerate methods. And this example will represent how an abstract class is defined or invented and will used in the program. So this is the basic example I've mentioned here. So if you implement this code or you try to execute, the output you'll get is Volvo.accelerate. Of course, you're using the class bus. We have to abstract method to accelerate function. So this is one of the simple example of data abstraction. Now, as I said, yeah, this is one also example. Next, coming to the, as I said, data abstraction example can be done in two ways, or it can be achieved by two different ways. So the two different ways are in the context of OOPS, as object-oriented program. There are two main ways to achieve the data abstraction through abstract class and through the interfaces. Yeah, the two main points are one is the abstraction and one is the interfaces. Now coming to the abstraction class. So what do you mean by abstraction? As I said, abstract in the sense we are representing some values by hiding the background details. Yeah, is a class that cannot be instantiated on its own and may contain abstract methods. So it can be done by its own and may contain some abstract method even too. Yeah. Abstract methods are declared without providing an implementation in the abstract class. So the important point I've mentioned in this, abstract methods are declared without providing an implementation. So without an implementation, it just provides an information in the abstract class itself. Subclasses in the abstract classes that extend the abstract class must provide concrete implementation for all abstract methods. So the subclasses that extends the abstract class must provide concrete implementation for all other abstract methods. Yeah, abstract classes can also have regular methods with implementation. And abstract classes, it can have a regular implementation, as we said, it could be done. Yeah, so we have seen the abstract method. Now we'll see the interface method. So, and the example I have displayed in the screen, you can check. So, interfaces. An interface is a collection of abstract methods. Abstraction is itself, it is representing values by having background. And interface means it is a collection of abstract method. Abstraction, interface. Interface, collection of abstraction. Yeah. So in Java, a class can implement multiple interfaces. So a class, of course, everyone you can implement multiple interfaces, but these interfaces allow you to achieve multiple inheritance in Java. In Java, interfaces allow you to achieve multiple inheritances in Java. Few will be not achieving inheritance, but these interfaces allow you to achieve multiple inheritance in Java. Yeah. All methods declared in an interface are implicitly public and abstract. Important point I've mentioned here is all methods declared in an interface are implicitly public and abstract method. Starting from Java 8, interfaces can have default and static methods without implementation. As coming to the abstraction method, it didn't have default and static method, but from interfaces can have default as well as the static method with the implementation. So these were the two examples I have mentioned for the data abstraction program. And data abstraction can be done in achieved in two ways. One is the abstract and one is the interfaces. Now coming to the terminologies of two examples. So what is this terminology says of two examples that I see? So in both the example, we saw that abstract class or the interface defines a common set of methods. See, literally same, but it is defining a common set of methods that subclasses or implementing classes must provide it. Yeah, it defines a common set of methods, that is the abstraction, that subclasses or implementing classes must provide. This allows for a level of standardization and provides a clear separation between what an object is. Yeah, and how it accomplished it, of course, in the implementation. The user of these abstraction can work with high-level concepts without needing to understand the intricate details of each specific implementation. As the terminology says, class or the abstract class or interface defines a common set of methods. That is one point that the subclasses or implementation must should provide. That was the terminology. And by this, the users, we, of the abstraction can work with high-level concepts. High-level concepts in the data abstraction could be done without to understand the intricate details of each specific implementation. By knowing its each specific implementation, we can be performing the high level so task. This was the terminology of just two example I have shown here. So this was about the data abstraction. So far we learned about what is data abstraction and what are the algorithm for the data abstraction in Java. And by taking two different examples, we'll be knowing how to achieve the data abstraction. And after that, what is the terminologies of those two examples. So hope you people like this. Thank you.